Hello, and welcome to episode 15 of Novel Knits. I think it's 15, right? It is episode 15. Wow! Thank you so much for being here with me today. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about what I'm knitting, what I'm reading, and anything else going on in my life. I am planning to get back to dyeing some yarn this year, so hopefully that will be on the horizon for the new year as well. And while we're at it, Happy New Year! We made it! We made it through 2021. It was there were times last year that felt a little dicey, but we made it, we got through. But anyway, I'm so happy that you decided to spend some time with me today. I started this channel just over a year ago to kind of make some friends in the knitting community. I don't have any knitting friends in real life, so this has been a really fun way for me to get to know a couple people, and I really appreciate those of you who have come back, and if this is your first time, I hope you like what you see and that you want to come back again. So thanks so much. Today I am going to be talking about kind of my reflections on 2021, my knitting and reading, and my thoughts going into 2022. I have no finished objects today for the first time ever. I have 2 works in progress, and I have a couple books to talk about, nothing crazy. It's kind of been a little slow here. We made it through the holidays, and I was not totally down to the wire this year with Christmas knitting, but I was pretty close. So then there was a few days of burnout, not sure what, like after you do all of that knitting, like I did 10 ornaments, I did 4 pairs of socks and hats, and then afterwards it was like, how do I do it with myself? And I do know what I need to do with myself, but there was just definitely some relaxing and just doing some fun knitting as well. So yeah, and then I think that's it. But before we get into all of that, I'm just going to quickly tell you that if you want to connect with me on Instagram or Ravelry, I am Novel Knit Girl on both. I am not the most active person on social media. However, I check it daily. So if you ever post or send me a message there, I would definitely respond. Same with Ravelry. I am just not a huge social media person. However, sometimes I am. Like, I definitely ebb and flow, but I don't know. I don't worry about it anymore. I've just decided to let it go. That's kind of my thought process heading into the new year, is let it go. I'm not going to be great at everything. So choose to be good at the things I need to be good at, which is like mothering and my job. So yeah, and I'm gonna let the rest of it go. So and for 2022, I am hosting 2 year-long knit-alongs. So I wanted to talk about those really quickly. This week sometime I will get into Ravelry and I will create a group, and I will open threads for both of these knit-alongs. So if you want to participate, please feel free to jump into either of those threads. I will have all the information there. And if you're not on Ravelry, I will have 2 hashtags as well. So you can participate on Ravelry or on Instagram. Unfortunately, those are the only 2 places. If that's a problem, if you are not on either of those places, let me know, and maybe you can just email me and still be part of the knit-along, and it'll be great. So we'll make it work no matter what. Both of my knit-alongs are open to knitting and crocheting, and one of them is also open to sewing. So if you are in any of those crafts, please feel welcome to make along with us. So I will probably accidentally call them CALs or knit-alongs. They're really both make-alongs. So just know that I'm not perfect and I'm gonna slip up, and I've never hosted a knit-along before. So this might have some bumps along the way. Just roll with the punches with me and let's get through this. I'm going to do prizes 4 times a year. They will be yarn related, likely, possibly project bag, perhaps stitch markers. We'll kind of see what happens. But I will do kind of a check-in in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, and then we'll have a grand prize at the end of the year. So I'm hoping that as the year goes on, more people hear about the knit-alongs and want to join in. So the first one is Shop Your Stash 2022, and that's going to be the name of the hashtag. And that is going to be anything that you make that was in your stash, so your yarn or fabric stash, prior to January 1st, 2022 is eligible for this make along. So even if you bought it on New Year's Eve, it counts. The only real rules, I guess, are that it has to be in your stash prior to, paid for in your stash prior to January 1st, 2022, and at least 75% of your project has to be made with stash yarn. So if it's color work or something and one of your colors is a new yarn, I mean, I'm also not going to police anybody. I just want people to participate. So that is like the only loose rule. So has two loose rules. It has to be in your stash prior to New Year's Day, 2022, and at least 75% of your project has to be stash yarn. So honestly, though, if you cheat, I don't even really care that much. I just want you to participate and make some stuff with me. So I'll give you an update later on how well I've been doing on not buying yarn. And then the other knit along is gonna be called Sweater Year 2022. I checked this hashtag, it didn't seem to be taken. And basically this is any sweater that you make this year. It does not have to be out of stash. It can be brand new yarn that you buy tomorrow. It can be anything. I personally, for 2022, I'm gonna try to make as many sweaters as I can. You don't have to do that. If you make one sweater all year, put it in. And then you'll get a chance to win all year round. So, and it also kind of depends on how many people participate. I mean, if only one person participates, I guess they get 4 prizes. So we'll just kind of see what happens. But I hope that people will join in the knit along with me and knit some sweaters and knit from stash. And I am working on organizing my life here so that everything works. And I'll put a post on Instagram soon kind of announcing the knit alongs. But I really hope that people will join along with me and make some stuff and make some sweaters, because it's time. It's time for sweaters, I think. All right, so, and really quickly, I do have a giveaway going on right now. I announced it on my last episode, but because that was kind of a weird, like, pre-Christmas episode, and there were a lot of Vlogmas videos coming out every day, it might have gotten missed. So I'm gonna keep the giveaway open for one more episode. So this is my 1-year YouTube channel anniversary giveaway, and I'm giving away this beautiful sock set by Woolberry Fiber Co. In the colorway, it's Magical. It is simple sock yarn, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards, 100 grams. It's a beautiful color. I really, really love it. And you do not have to knit socks in order to use this yarn. It would be perfect for a shawl, for a hat, for put into a blanket, anything, cowl. So it's a very versatile skein of yarn. It's kind of coming apart a little bit at the bottom, but it's beautiful. And then along with that, I'm including this beautiful J. Hendry Designs kind of sock sack. It's sort of like a little yarn bowl. So where you could kind of open up the bottom and set your yarn in there and knit out of it. It's really beautiful. This was given to me by the lovely ladies at Full Moon Fibers as an apology because they did not have a yarn in stock that I ordered, and I thought it was very kind of them, and I thought I would share the love and give this away as part of a prize. So if you are interested in winning this lovely set, please just leave a message below letting me know what anything that you plan to knit in the next year, or crochet, or sew, or bake, or anything. Just leave a comment below and you'll be entered to win. So I would love to give this away. All right, so let's look back in 2021. So let's review the year. I completed 41 knitting projects, which is crazy. And one project in there is actually 10 ornaments, so it's actually 50 things. That's a lot. My goal for the year, because I do the challenge in Ravelry, was 35, so I blew that out of the water. I made 22 pairs of socks. 10 were gifts, so that's great. I didn't even realize I made that many socks as gifts. I mean, to my family members, for sure. Potential spam call. and a few to some neighbors. So I was a little bit more generous with my socks this year than I have been in the past. So that was good. And I wanted to make 12 pairs for myself, which I did. So that was great. I made 4 hats, 2 were for me and 2 were gifts. I made 6 under the category of shawl, wrap, scarf, which seems low, but I think that's because I started like 4 other ones and didn't get very far. So that number it's fine. I thought I did more than that. That was probably the one thing that surprised me. But when I look back to the year, I was like, I think I started like 4 shawls and that never took off. So hopefully I'll finish those this year. I made 2 mitts. I made a pair of mittens for my sister and fingerless gloves as a gift. So both were gifts for other people. I made 2 cowls. I made 3 sweaters and 1 toy. So some of the favorites that came out of this for me, for sure, my Felix Pullover, which I'm wearing today. This turned out so good, and it shouldn't have, which is the interesting thing, because when I made this, I cast it on with the wrong weight of yarn. It's acrylic, which is nobody's favorite, and I didn't know what I did. I started it, I put it away for a few months, and then I pulled it back out, and I did some guesstimating, and I couldn't be happier with how it looks and fits, and it's very sweatshirty, but it also looks nice. Like I wore this on Thanksgiving and I felt really nice. So this is for sure a favorite. This hat that I made at the beginning of the year, this Flock Together hat by Matt Akers in Ave's Fibers, I think, is definitely a favorite. I wear this every morning right now in this weather. It is DK held with mohair, and it is so warm, and I love how it looks and feels, and it keeps me so warm, and this is definitely a favorite. My favorite pair of socks I'm wearing right now, I don't know if you want me to take them off and show you. I guess I will. You won't be able to smell. If you watched my earlier episodes, I wasn't thrilled with these when I was making them. And I saved all my socks till the new year, and I put these on, and they fit so good, and they feel so nice. So this is my vanilla is the new black. So it's got this interesting heel construction. So you don't do a heel flap and gusset, you do like this, I don't even know what you call it, but this different heel construction. And the yarn, I wasn't sure if I love the color. It's Starry Night by Gnome Acres. And when I put these on, I was like, these fit me really well. And I really like how they look. So, and I think everybody who knits socks, we all have those socks that like, the cuff is a little tight, or the heel's a little funky, or I don't know, they're just, some of them end up better than others, and overall these ended up perfect, and I'm really, really happy with them. So those made it to my favorites. My other favorite is, if you follow me on Instagram, I made a muscle burra for my personal trainer, and it was beautiful. I love it. It exists in the world, just not with me. I made it out of Dyed by Dell's yak sock yarn in the color Quorum's Coat. So it was like a really deep, deep green. And I have green eyes, so like I love green hats. I feel like they make me look really nice, and they make my eyes pop, and I loved it. And I gave it to my trainer, who now has left, and I feel like it was very underappreciated, and I really wish I would have kept it for myself. So I'm going to make myself a muscle burra. It will not be this one, but that was an amazing hat, and it was one of those beautiful moments where the pattern and the yarn were perfect, and I really want it back. I'll live, but it was so good. And then books, last year my goal was to read 40 books, and I read 49, so that was great. I used to have my goal on Goodreads to read like 90 books, and then I wasn't even getting close. And I think just the nature of life you know, I'm working 40 hours a week at a job, sometimes I can listen to books, but not always. I listen to podcasts sometimes when I walk the dog, sometimes I listen to books, but you know, it's just a different world, and I have to drive my kids around every evening, so I don't have a lot of time to just read books and knit, which is what I would really like to do with my time. But so 49 books is pretty good. Highlights for me were Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I read that over the summer, and that was by far my favorite book this year. Young adult, based on Alice in Wonderland. I loved it. So that was 100% my favorite book, and it just hit me at the right time too. Sometimes I think that's the magic, is like the right book finds you at the right time, and that book found me at the right time. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, I also really liked that book too. I thought that was great. And then Aurora Rising and The Queen Will Save You were both towards the end of last year, and I liked both of those. I ended up reading the whole Aurora cycle very quickly and felt a little not great about the ending, but Aurora Rising was 100% like a great first book in that series. And The Queen Will Save You was just charming. I just like a charming book every once in a while, and that was a great charming book. So my goal for reading this year is to read 50 books. So I was pretty close last year, and I think I can do it. All right, so let's get into some knitting content. Oh geez, before we do that, let's just quickly go over some of my goals. So for 2022, for knitting, I would like to make, like I said, as many sweaters as I can. Ideally, I'm looking at between 10 and 16 sweaters, all different weights. So fingering, bulky, worsted, color work, short sleeve, long sleeve, cardigan. I'm looking for a variety. So I think I'm kind of gonna go based on what yarn I want to work with at the time, instead of necessarily a pattern. We'll see. It's all subject to change. I'm not gluing myself down to anything. As long as I keep on this sweater train for 12 months, I will be happy. I want to make at least 12 pairs of socks. I would like to try a brioche project. I tentatively have a shawl by Joji Locatelli earmarked to try that, but I also might just put it in a cowl or something. So we'll see, but I definitely want to try brioche this year. Hats and gifts, I want to kind of work on them throughout the year. I want to make a muscle burra for me for sure, but I need to find the right yarn. I've been kind of stash diving, and I want the one I made already. I want to finish up my shawl whips. Like I mentioned, I think I have like 4 started, so I want to finish those up and then maybe knit 2 more shawls this year. I want to get to my Christmas gifts earlier. I think I already said that. I want to put some actual time and energy into my Cozy Memories blanket. I have, I think, 2 little mitered squares, and I want to keep working on that and really start to make that happen this year. It's been, I think I started it like 3 years ago, and I haven't done anything, so I really want to make some progress there. And then I want to finish a Bits and Bobs blanket, and I might have a baby entering my life at some point this year, so I think I want to make a baby blanket too, so we'll see. So yeah, those are my goals for the year, and those are subject to change. Of course, I'm not going to kill myself or like to try to get stuff done. I'm not going to make myself crazy or stressed out if it's not working. At the end of the day, knitting is a hobby and we do it for fun, right? So and then I have a few other things that I want to work on. So this is I don't know if I'm going to say it right, Kive yarn that my parents bought me when they went to Alaska. And they brought, I mean, this skein of yarn cost my parents about $100. And because Kive is the delicate underwool of an Arctic musk ox, and it's known for being super soft, which it is, and warm. And so they brought it back with this scarf pattern, which is really beautiful. But as you can see, like the Kive doesn't really hold the shape well, and it's really like come in on itself. And I just thought, this is a warm wool. I think I want to use it for a warm project. So I mean, this does nothing for me. So I think I'm going to take this out, and I think I might hold this with something and make either a hat or a cowl with it. But this needs to be something useful, I've decided. So that's something I want to work on this year. And then I also want to repurpose yarn for 2 sweaters that I've knit previously. I think I wore this sweater once when I recorded, but this is the, oh, what is this called? Long Weekend Cardigan. I made this in 2017 and I didn't do a great job on it. It's too big for me. I mean, these arms are real weird, and I love the yarn and I want to make it into something that I'll wear. So another kind of goal this year is going to be to rip this out and repurpose this wool. And I have a couple ideas of what I would like to make out of it. All right, now I am done with all of the goals, I think. But, and obviously I personally am not going to be purchasing any yarn this year. In fact, I've decided to slash my stash by at least 50%. So if you watched my stash video a couple months ago, that wasn't even all my yarn. I have a lot of yarn, and I just need to reassess how I am purchasing yarn, because what I do is I do what we all do, right? Like, I love that, I want to make it, bing bang boom, I got the yarn sent to my house, and then I go put it in a corner until I'm ready to work on it. Well, I'm not working on stuff. I'm a very certain type of knitter, I'm learning. So while it's great to have whatever yarn you might possibly want to work with at your disposal, it's also great to work with yarn that you have. So I have been destashing yarn on eBay at a very reasonable price. So if you're interested in that information, just send me a DM and I'll let you know my my eBay handle if you want to take a look at what I have. But I just have too much. I talked a little bit about it last time, but it's starting to sort of become a pressure, and I don't want it. Knitting should not be stressful, and it should not be pressure, you know. So I've just decided that I have enough. I'm going to sell some of it at a nice discount and to give myself some room to breathe. And, you know, like as an example, sometimes Andrea Mowry will come out with a beautiful new sweater, and I think I want to make that sweater. And so it's like, well, you know, Magpie and Spin Cycle are both, you know, more expensive yarns, but I really want that sweater like that. And so for me, I realized that that's me looking at that as a product knit, and I'm not a product knitter. I'm a process knitter. So that's why when I talked about knitting sweaters, I was really clear that like I'm gonna start with the yarn I want to work with rather than the pattern. So I have to stop looking at product knitting for myself, because when it comes down to it, I don't really want to make maybe that sweater. Maybe I want to work with this yarn and do something else. So that's just me, and I am definitely not judging anybody who loves to buy yarn, because believe me, this girl loves to buy yarn. I just need a break for like a year. So I almost slipped up. We're only like 4 or 5 days into January, and I was on eBay kind of getting, you know, some orders ready to send out for some yarn that I sold, and I saw some sock yarn and I was like, oh, and I placed a bid, and I was like, what was I thinking? Because if I win, I have to buy this yarn. And then somebody outbid me, and I was like, oh, thank God. So I really, really, really want to succeed this year with not buying yarn. It doesn't mean I don't want to support yarn dyers, because I certainly do. I just need a break. So anyway, that's that. Holy cow, I've been talking for a long time. So let's talk about my works in progress, if I can find them. Right here, right by me. Okay, so I'm almost finished with this. These are my Advent socks. This is Oh What a Night Advent socks by the Wool Baron. And I have completed 25 stripes. I think I'm on 26 or 27. So I've gotten through the whole repeat once. I used Leading Men Fiber Arts in Heirloom for the heels, or the cuffs. I always do that. I say heels when I'm touching the cuff. And then I just added Afterthought heels last night. So using the same color. And I'm just gonna keep using the stripes for the toes. I like that. But this has been great. I've really been enjoying this. I'm gonna have tons of yarn left over. So I'll either make a smaller pair of socks, or I thought maybe of making a hat with mohair with Tracy Miller of the Grocery Girls, a new hat pattern. I thought about that as well. I thought that could be fun with all these colors as well. So, but these should be done very soon. So this has been my sock knitting lately. And then I did sign up for Test Knit in, I think it was the beginning of December. And it is the watercolored pullover by Tiffanyland. And let me see if I have a picture of it. Oh, and it's even in color. Wow. So this is the pattern. And what I like about this is the color work is very, I don't want to say muddy, but it's not crisp. So it just has like a different feel, like a Monet feel, and it's really beautiful. At first I was gonna buy new yarn for this, and then I was even talking to Sam of Lavender Loon and about helping me put together, because I just couldn't picture like what she did. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but like she's holding, I think, 2 yarns together here, and then these are 2 single colors here. So it's 2 DK yarns held together the whole time. And so I actually shopped my stash and found these yarns, and I'm really, really happy with it. So, ooh, I have a lot of ends. Let me just tuck those in. So here's where we're at. I bound off the body yesterday, so now I just have the sleeves. I'm getting really close to the deadline. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but if I work on this the next couple of evenings, I should get it done on time. So I am using, for the body, oh goodness, I'm gonna have to pull out the tags because I don't totally remember what everything is. Okay, these are the 2 tags for. So 1 skein of Teeny Button Studio Squish DK in Dale Tea. So here's the tag. And then, and I'm holding that with Sugar Plum Circus. Sorry. BFL DK in Driftwood. And so that's what they look like. And so marled together, they make this beautiful body color. My second skein of the Teeny Button Studio is a lot pinker than the first one. So I don't know if you can tell, but like as you go down, you can see it gets pinker at the bottom. And it really doesn't bother me at all. I actually kind of like it. I think it's kind of neat. And then for my contrast colors, I am using 2 skeins of yarn from Yarn Cafe Creations. I'm gonna see if I can find the tags, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to. Yeah. I don't know why I'm reaching down. I could just lift the bag up, right? So I believe this is Eggnog and her DK base. Just beautiful. So soft. Her yarns are so incredibly soft. I adore them. And then the other one is, I think this is Cactus. And I really wanted, when I was envisioning it, I really like Tiff's color palette always, and I really wanted blue, like what she had. But I really think that the green works really well with this, and I'm happy. I was really unsure about trusting my instincts, and I'm really, really glad that I did. So it's coming along. Hopefully, this will definitely be a finished object the next time that we talk, because it has to be. And then I have 3 sweaters on the needles that I want to finish by, I don't know, mid-February. 2 of them are very close, and one is a little further along, but they're all at least to sleeve separation. So I feel like I could knock out 4 sweaters here pretty quickly, which would be a good start to my knit along, right? Okay, and then my husband and my son both have birthdays at the end of this month. I don't think I'm gonna make my son another pair of socks because he's gotten the most, because he's got the smallest feet, but I am gonna be making my husband a pair of socks, and once I start those, I'll be really excited to show you. I'm using, don't remember what it's called, Artistic Yarn by Abby, I think, and it's kind of like a patterned yarn, and it's supposed to look like eggs and bacon. So I'm really interested to see how it knits up and if it really looks like eggs and bacon, because my husband's name is Nathan and his nephews call him Eggs and Bacon Uncle Nathan. I don't know, it's just one of those boy things, but so that's why I'm making those for him. So I want to get those cast on as soon as I'm done with the Advent socks. And then yeah, just on to books really quick. So oh goodness, I didn't write down. Normally I write down what I finished. I didn't write anything. I haven't written a word since 2007. I've not been a creative writer in a long time. I finished Verity by Colleen Hoover. That was disturbing. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It's like, it was just gross. I didn't like reading it. So I'm not done with Colleen Hoover. I want to find the one Colleen Hoover book that I really just like, but I don't know. This one was weird. It was a writer who has a lot of tragedy in her life, and then another writer, younger writer, is brought in to her world to finish a book series. And of course there's a husband, and like she finds a hidden memoir which makes the writer seem like a super villain. Of course there's crazy twists at the end, and I don't know, it wasn't my favorite, but I read it and it kept my interest, so we'll go with that. I did finish The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffith, I think. Griffin or Griffith, I'm not sure. And that was pretty good. Again, like, I had a hard time with that book, but I just felt like the writing was just a wee bit weak, and it was so close, and who am I to judge, because I've never written a book, so I'm always very careful. I just felt like sometimes I will, like, especially with Kristen Hanna books, I'll be like, oh man, she made a meal of that, like she went on and on and on and on, and like this book I felt like it was almost like too surface. Like it could have gone just a little bit deeper and it would have been a little bit better. But I think I gave that one 2 stars on Goodreads. It's light, it's easy. It was definitely a good before bed book. So right now I am reading The Exiles by Christina Baker Klein, and I'm really enjoying this. This is super good. Whenever I get on here, I lose all my ability to talk for some reason, but highly, highly, highly recommend. This is really good, and I'll talk more about it when I finish it, but I'm really enjoying this. Again, like two stories going on at once, and they're both heartbreaking, and they both deal with exiles, being an exile in a different way, and just super good. And then I just started reading on my Kindle. I found my charger for my Kindle, so I'm back to Kindle world. Wheel of Time, but it's the first book. I'm sure I could figure it out by just opening my Kindle and letting you know. I can't. I'm reading the first Wheel of Time book. I watched the series on Amazon and I was intrigued, and I was also confused, and I thought maybe if I read the book it would make more sense. So far it isn't. Jury is out, as I mean, I'm very, very, very early on in this book, so I'll see how I feel about it. But it's nice to be back on my Kindle again and reading from there. And then I think coming up, I'm going to be reading The Magic Hour by Kristen Hanna. I've heard it's not her best work, but I have it in my house, so I'm gonna read that. And then I also got a couple books for Christmas, so I'm looking forward to getting to those as well. So I don't know what I'm gonna listen to next on Audible yet, but I'll keep you posted. There's always something on Audible. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And okay, I'm at 35 minutes, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up. Please, if you have hung on this long, consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment. I would love to hear from you. If you have any feedback about anything I talked about, or my knit-alongs, I would love to hear from you. I really hope that everybody is excited to make something awesome this year. I hope that it's a good year for everybody. I know I have a lot of goals that are very personal to me, and using my stash and making sweaters is how they are kind of manifesting in my knitting, and also destashing, both by using what I have and emptying out the stash a bit. So thank you so much. I will have a winner for the giveaway next week. So again, remember to leave a comment if you'd like to win this prize. So thanks so much. I hope everybody's doing well. I'll see you next time. Bye.